Okay, so up next we have a man who has been on the stage many times. He's one of the long stay poets who's been here pretty much right from the beginning, even before we were in this building. And I've seen him grow, I've seen him blossom. He is at times incredibly insightful and thoughtful, and at other times just fucking hysterical. Please put your hands together for the amazing Dave Hempshall! Keep it coming! Thank
you. Eruptions of volatility, motions eviscerate, explosive putrescence, intestines gyrate, causing involuntary rictus, reality's grip slowly unclinching, acid coasts, elementary canals like Wonka's boat ride, he won't let me off, acid surges, cardiac terror, sweat glands tattoo, cadaverous goosebumps. Pugh's face turns as white as the China iceberg I've been hugging. Then a translucent pea green, putrid broth blasts from blistered orifice. Visitors to that olfactory war crime scene risk temporary insanity, maybe lasting nerve damage. Still, you can't beat a nice vindaloo, can you? If anyone was disturbed by that poem, there will be a helpline available after the show. Thank you for having me back in Hastings. As some of you might know, I'm actually a DFL down from Lewis. So, and I don't actually live in Hastings. I live in St Leonard's. And, this is a poem about certain denizens of St Leonard's. You know the sort with their beards and their glasses and their retro t-shirts. Excuse me if I get a bit emotional when I'm reading this poem. What's that white creamy stuff dripping down your vintage tortoiseshell spectacles into your immaculately waxed, manifestly manicured chin thatch? It's free-range chipotle-infused mayo. Hellman's not good enough for you because you're half man, half burger, half man. 3 stars and a semi-quaver. A semi-quaver? What's that? 3 stars and a semi-quaver adorn your neck, etched in Indian blue, but pumping through your jugular, erupting in crimson plume, handcrafted cherry vine tomato ketchup, because you're half man, half burger, half man. Gherkins pierce your side like Saint Sebastian crucified. On your back you carry the weight of a freshly baked brioche bun, because you're half man, half burger, half man. Ripped rockets sprouts from torn lumberjack shirt, because you're half man, half burger, half man. Is this one of your ironic stunts, understood by only you and the other hipster cronies? No. Your lifeblood is ebbing, fading, disintegrating, like beer-fed pulled beef, because you're half man, half burger, half man. Thank you. Most of these poems are actually they're quite some of them I've read before here, some of them they're other poems. I needed a bit of inspiration, so I actually asked on Facebook if anyone could suggest something. So and Dylan suggested the March Hare. So it's a bit of a work in progress at the moment. So So I've got lots of other stuff on at the moment. So this is about the March hare. That was the subject, and obviously, sort of the March hare. You think, oh, that's beautiful, man, you know. But obviously, the March hare is obviously synonymous with the stigma of mental health. So, and it's based on one of my favourite poems, which is the Giant Jam Sandwich. The inhabitants of Woodland Town called a secret council in their hidden lair to debate the return of the mad March hare. Old Badger was the first to break the silence. He's not like us. He might wreak violence. He'll make the burrow prices fall. He's not like us. No, not at all. Hear, hear, the townfolk cry. We wouldn't normally pry, but the way he bounds, the way he leaps, it gives the children the shivering creeps. We need protecting, the townsfolk mutter. Banish him, the dangerous nutter. But they don't understand, you see, the mad March hare's creativity. Trapped in their warrens, they are frightened of individuality. I've worked, I was going to say this, but I've worked in the NHS most of my life, and the poem that won last month was inspired by the NHS, and what a mess it's going to be if all the people who are not British leave. So I wasn't going to say this, but there is a phrase. I've worked in the NHS all my life, all my working life. And there is a phrase that really sort of brings out this sort of guttural response in me every time, every year I hear this. And it's just that it brings out this sort of primal guttural response. It's almost like a fight or flight response every time I hear it. And that phrase, shall we have a Secret Santa again this year? Oh, that's just me then. So yeah, candle in the mug. Oh, that's great, thank you. That's really original. Thank you. And then you get the joke in the team who sort of gets his colleague the comedy lingerie, you know. It wasn't fine the first time, all right. That's can't help it. I was this sort of fatty glands. I've had it since I was 14, all right. Wasn't funny the first time. Anyway. I always go for the same gift actually. It's an overripe mango. He gets them every time. I'm like the Secret Santa Unabomber. One year for Secret Santa, I got a book called 50 Ways to Kill Slugs. I know, 50 Ways to Kill Slugs. Doesn't make sense, does it? Because slugs is plural and kill is singular. So this one is called Slugs. Slugs. I hate slugs. Squish them, squash them, capture them, then cosh them. They are scum. Hunt them, search them with flashlights, flush them out, crush them underfoot, spray them with parasitic nematodes that eat them from the insides. Give neighbouring children red-hot skewers so they can poke them, then shrivel up and die. They're just slugs. Make them cower, overpower them, catch them, force them all together so they fight, urinate on them from a great height, cram them in a confined space so they cannot breathe, so they spread disease, poison them with salt, drown them in cheap supermarket booze, be nice to them, entice them to a special slug tower, set it on fire, burn them, watch the fire consume them. They're just slugs. And I hate slugs. Thank you. Yeah, so let's talk a bit more about my mood, shall we? No, don't. This one's called Look at Me Now. You told me I was thick, you dragged me down, you called me a dunce, you called me a clown. Well, look at me now, popping verses that sting, that make people think, although sometimes they're about cats and vomiting. See, I can rhyme. You called me Fatty Four Eyes, you called me Mr. Gorilla, pierced by your barbs. In youth, you caused me to seek comfort in cheap cider, empty carbs. Well, look at me now, spinning life's roundabout, climbing with my son, 1 hour, 52 minutes in my first triathlon. You were the school's prime athlete. You took pride in dragging others down, people you considered weak. Well, you did drag me down, and for a while I refused to speak. Well, look at me now, I've found my voice. It comforts, it provokes, it provides jollity. You caused years of doubt. Well, look at me now. You see, I don't care. See, that's not what life is about. Life's all right. In fact, it's better than I ever could have wished. Now, let's look you up. Let's see how many poems you've had published. Well, here's the epilogue, a picture on Facebook, you and your partner in matching grey tracksuits, a bottle of Beck's resting on your considerable paunch. Just look at you. Look at you. Look at you now. This next one is called Obliteration. And it's all true. At 2, I danced under the waterfall surge of my father's homebrew, lapping the hoppy elixir, unaware of what life would bring. A dervish to that devilish newfound taste, obliteration, couldn't care less. 12 years later, effervescent apple juice with benefits, the outsider, I enjoyed that deadened feeling. Obliteration, couldn't care less. Then the experimental years, gin and Cinzano, pints of Baileys, special brew with an ice cream float. Obliteration, couldn't care less. Childhood friends, new acquaintances. Working in a brewery by day, we imbibed with abandon. Vodka, Tolkien and Kerouac, talking till the sun came up. Obliteration, we couldn't care less. Then the eclipse, bad behaviour, blackouts, loss of control, loss of friends, spiked drinks, spiked thoughts, that guy in his pants chasing us with a branch, trying to kiss those spaniels. And that was just New Year's Eve 1999. We all caught the millennium bug that night. Obliteration, couldn't care less. My life has been wrapped by the tang of fermented fruit or grain, dizzy and anaesthetising, longing for that first fresh hit of anointment by ale, that infant yearning for obliteration, couldn't care less. Slowly we drifted, new lives, responsibility. 2 of our dearest friends left us, unable to bear the pain, the obliteration, they couldn't have cared more. Then I met the one. We discovered each other in Andalusian bars, Cretan tavernas, Cuban speakeasies, and still sip mojitos when the kids are asleep. Obliteration, but we have to care now. Thank you. All true. 2 years, like Lucas said, I've been slamming, dunking. Is that it? Slam dunking? Yay! I'll try not to touch. Hello. Okay, in Edward in 1983, bested by special product. So I don't know where that came from. Anyway, 2 years, like I said, 2 years ago, when it was about 3 years ago actually, when Slam Dunk was in its sort of infant years. Do you remember the slam we had in the street slam?
Yeah.
So, and it was in between the two main sort of international coffee shops in town, and unfortunately the market wasn't on at the time, so which I was devastated by, obviously, because there was nowhere to buy a massive Bob Marley flag. So 18 lighters wrapped in cellophane, for £1. Anyway, we're stationed sort of in that area, and this is a poem that I wrote especially for that situation. The fifth leader of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, his mother, overpowering, oppressive, married her uncle to climb the ladder of aristocracy because power corrupted, as it always does. She poisoned her uncle so her son could succeed him as heir. For her efforts, her son executed her. For a short while, his rule was just and fair, under the sage hand of Seneca the Elder. Then he exiled and murdered political opponents because power corrupted, as it always does. He fought bloody campaigns against Boudicca and her brave Iceni, sanctified torture as an act of war, because when you're in power, you can make the law, because Jersey, Guernsey and the Isle of Man are not offshore. Meanwhile, on the domestic front, wife number 1, beheaded. Wife number 2, he kicked to death. Wife number 3, a boy he dressed as wife number 2. Now, because power corrupted, as it always will do. Now, would you seriously name a coffee shop after this man, Nero? When I was walking down here today from St Leonard's, I wasn't going to say this because I just saw it today, but it's really random. I was walking down Bohemia Road, and there was a case, a box that obviously had like a really big tiramisu in, and then there was a spoon, and then there was a little pool of vomit. So I was thinking, okay, you can understand that, right? You can understand sort of you can understand cake, spoon, yeah. But I was thinking, actually what? Okay, I was thinking as I was walking down here today, I was thinking, what happens if that person had been walking up Bohemia Road, eh? I think it messes with the narrative then, doesn't it? Sick, spoon, because I was like sort of step over the cake. Well, it's a spoon. But I was thinking actually sort of what if that person had been walking up Bohemia Road? Do you know what I'm saying? I was just like, then, how does that work? The narrative is just, so is it like they're sick? But no, what happens? I'm just like, no, maybe they were they did a sort of celebratory vomit, I don't know, and then or maybe they saw the vomit and then sort of threw their spoon down in disgust, and then, no, that still doesn't work, does it? I mean, sorry, anyway, I don't know where that came from. There was an advert recently for a leading computer company that's sort of like been making computers ever since computers were popular, and it's this kid who's doing loads of sort of really cool things on her tablet computer, and the catchphrase is she's asked what she's doing on her computer, and she says, "What's a computer?" So, and that became a catchphrase in our house. So this one's called "What's a computer?" What's a computer? It's a device that can be instructed to carry out arbitrary sequences of arithmetic or logical operations automatically. That's a computer. A machine for processing and storing data, usually in logical form. That's a computer. Pebbles in the Abyssinian sand. That's a computer. The geared Archimedean counting contraption. That's a computer. The pinnacle of medieval Muslim mathematical magic. That's a computer. Cracked code at Bletchley Park, rained doodlebug terror in the dark, that's a computer. Gifted a voice to a man who imagined dark matter and wormholes, that's a computer. They can be used to free trapped miners, they can be used to fly planes into buildings, that's a computer. They prove that the world can exist, as long as you channel love and empathy and make everything out of wood. They prove the existence of Zionist reptilian shapeshifters, that's a computer. They win minds, they lose elections, that's a computer. It forced a Grandmaster resignation because of a deep blue pinned knife on E3, see, Bruce got it in there. It located a small thermal exhaust port right below the main port. The shaft led directly to the reactor system, that's a computer. Although it didn't actually, it didn't guide the final proton torpedo to its target, because that was a combination of an astromech droid and the Force. Look that up on your computer. It allows you to watch a video of your favourite YouTuber playing a computer game about a YouTuber playing a computer game. That's a computer. It's my last poem, and it requires a bit of audience participation. So when I do this, I want you to, everyone to shout "Love Hastings," okay? So love Hastings. Let's try it. So let's try it one time. Love Lucas. Love Hastings. Hey. Love beachside firesides. Love Hastings. Love washed up dogfish. Love Hastings. Love the earliest underground car park in Europe. Love Hastings. Love half man, all hipster. Love Hastings. Love abandoned tiramisu boxes. Love Hastings. Love chip nicking seagulls. Love Hastings. Love Fat Tuesday groovers. Love Hastings. Love hills. Love Hastings. Love lifts. Love Hastings. Love tiny trains. Love Hastings. Hate Eastbourne, sorry. Love romanticised portrayals of ruthless murderers as quaint eye-patch rogues. Love Hastings. Love hills, no, I've done that bit. Love your pleasingly plankish pier. Love Hastings. Love unrivaled creativity. Love Hastings. Love yourselves. Love Hastings. Thank you.